North Korea has agreed to implement a moratorium on long-range missile launches, nuclear tests, and nuclear activities at Yongbyon, including uranium enrichment activities. The DPRK has also agreed to the return of IAEA inspectors to verify and monitor the moratorium on uranium enrichment activities.
US diplomats have met with North Korean officials in Beijing to finalize a food aid deal, which is part of an agreement to end Pyongyang's nuclear program.
The U.S. has suspended food aid to North Korea after the country refused to cancel a scheduled rocket launch. Washington says this breaks the deal in which North Korea agreed to suspend uranium enrichment and its nuclear missile tests in exchange for humanitarian support. Pyongyang says the launch is just intended to send a satellite to space.
There was a hope that with new leadership in North Korea, there would be a new approach to its weapons programs. But the North's new threat to defy a missile test ban brought strong words from President Obama today. The president is visiting South Korea for an international conference on nuclear security, and White House correspondent Bill Plant is there as well.
The president is in South Korea for a summit aimed at keeping nuclear material out of the hands of terrorists. Hello. But the overriding question here is how to deal with a nuclear-armed North Korea.
North Korea will achieve nothing by threats or by provocations.
Just weeks after North Korea said it would resume disarmament talks and the U.S. agreed to send it food, leaders in the North announced a missile launch for next month. With South Korean President Lee, President Obama threatened to cancel the food aid if the launch happens.
They need to understand that bad behavior will not be rewarded.
The United States has no hostile intent toward your country. We are committed to peace. And we are prepared to take steps to improve relations, which is why we have offered nutritional aid to North Korean mothers and children. But by now it should be clear. Your provocations and pursuit of nuclear weapons have not achieved the security you seek. They have undermined it. Instead of the dignity you desire, you are more isolated. Instead of earning the respect of the world, you've been met with strong sanctions and condemnation. You can continue down the road you are on, but we know where that leads. It leads to more of the same, more broken dreams, more isolation, ever more distance between the people of North Korea and the dignity and the opportunity that they deserve. And know this, there will be no rewards for provocations. Those days are over. But to the leaders of Pyongyang, I say, this is the choice before you. This is the decision that you must make. Today we say, Pyongyang, have the courage to pursue peace and give a better life to the people of North Korea.
Ever since North Korea announced its rocket launch 2 weeks ago, Tokyo has been sending ever stronger messages about its readiness to respond to any resulting threat to its territory. On Friday, after a meeting of the National Security Council, Japan's defense minister made it official.
Earlier today, I issued a self-defense force operation order for shoot-down measures in relation to ballistic missiles. The decision was made following North Korea's recent announcement of a launch. This allows the Commander-in-Chief of the Air Defense Command to be in charge of issuing a shoot-down order of ballistic missiles.
Of course, South Korea has its own air defences. Earlier this week, a Defence Ministry official said an option open to the military here would be to track and shoot down the rocket, or parts of it, if they threaten South Korean territory. Although so far there hasn't been an official public order to that effect. In Beijing, China and Japan's top nuclear envoys met to discuss the launch. China has unusually spoken openly of its concerns about Pyongyang's plans.
All parties should attach great importance to regional peace and stability and remain calm and restrained rather than complicating the situation.
We have breaking news out of North Korea. North Korea has launched that long-range rocket, a rocket powerful enough that it eventually could be threatening to the United States. A dramatic statement by the mysterious young dictator there. But let's go straight to ABC's Martha Raddatz. Martha, what are you hearing about the rocket launch tonight?
Diane, it launched just a short time ago, and a U.S. official has told me already they believe the launch failed. Right after the first stage booster dropped, they believe this failed. They said there was a brighter than normal flare. After about 90 seconds, they lost contact with the rocket, and they believe it has fallen apart. Of course, the previous tests of long-range rockets also failed. North Korea was hopeful this would go about 1,600 miles, be launched into orbit, but apparently, according to a U.S. official, that has not happened.
The Earth observation satellite failed to enter its preset orbit. Scientists, technicians, and experts are now looking into the cause of the failure.
Painful and surprising. Previous launches, also said by the US, South Korea, and others to have failed, were hailed as successes in Pyongyang, with South Korea's defense ministry saying the rocket had exploded and come down in pieces as close as 100 kilometers to its coast. Perhaps Pyongyang was worried that the South's Navy would succeed in its efforts to recover the debris. South Korea's President Lee Myung-bak convened an emergency meeting soon after the launch, his foreign minister issuing a public rebuke to Pyongyang.
Our government is strongly condemning North Korea's new leadership for enforcing the rocket launch despite the international community's united request to withdraw the launch. The North must take due responsibility for this.